Russian ballerina, stomping on a bureaucrat, a perky suburban housewife who just got into scat. It's whimsically volatile.
Yes, Katya.
Are we rolling?
We are rolling, Katya.
I have a confession to make.
What's that confession? Tell me.
I have once again done the undoable.
Oh, what's that, darling?
I have shat into mine panties.
Oh, well, again, it's a good thing we have a leather couch.
Leather couch.
Don't say ouch if you're wearing pants and you're allowed to dance. Do the fecal dance.
That fecal dance puts me deep in a trance. There's no reason left to prance, for thine shittiness eludes me.
And what a lovely introduction for the introduction of Carole Pope, who is going to be our guest on this episode.
That's right. She wrote a book called Anti-Diva. It's an autobiography, and Newsweek calls it a total piece of shit. Just kidding.
Just kidding. That's just a little joke there for the kids.
The Toronto Star hails it as the kind of book you take in a single gulp for fear of losing step with its breathless pulp noir pace.
It is a page turner, right?
It's also, as the Globe and Mail heralds quite fondly, deeply enjoyable and unexpectedly deft. Pope is saucy and willing to say just about anything. Refreshingly, Pope does not feel the need to apologize in any way for this behavior or to seek forgiveness. There is no closure, no reckoning, no teary epiphanies on mountaintops or Costa Rican yoga retreats.
Interesting.
I don't relate to any of that.
None at all.
None at all. Actually, the book is so fucking good.
It's fantastic,
It's so fucking
right?
good. I don't know how to read, Craig, and this book cured my insomnia and my depression and gave me literacy.
And cleared up your skin. You said something about that earlier. But...
Well, my rosacea came back.
Oh, from the book?
From the book. But that's because I was bashing it against my face, and then that just looked, it was bruising that looked like rosacea.
That'll screw up your exfoliation treatments.
But the kids at home will be pleased to know that Divine, legendary drag figure Divine, is featured prominently in the book. And then there's a... Wait. What the... Hold on, shit. How can I find that fucking thing?
Well, while you're looking for that, I just want to give our listeners a little heads up. If you're not familiar with Carole Pope... Yes, Katya, I'm waiting.
I have to interrupt you for one second.
Katya, I will accept that, but please make it worthwhile.
Continue.
Thank you. Carole Pope, for those of you who aren't familiar with her work yet, she was the singer of a tremendously pioneering band in the 70s called Rough Trade. She has a brand new song out now. It's fantastic. It's called This Is Not a Test. We'll be posting clips of it on the Instagram and the Twitter. And Carole Pope, in addition to working with Rough Trade, has been in and around some incredible scenes in the show business world and has worked with... Is
that the world of show business?
That is the world of show business.
Okay.
Yeah, world in and around and of.
And
the show business. Yeah. Hailing originally from Canada, Carole now splits her time between LA and Canada, and she's worked with everyone from David Bowie to Divine.
And so in her long career of live performing, she recounted in the book on page 91, a man in the audience jerked off into his shoe during one of our sets. We could see him shooting his load from the stage. The band couldn't get enough of that. The burning question was, did the guy put the shoe back on his foot? Incredible.
This is just a taste of some of the magic prose that you will find in Carole Pope. Yeah, Carole Pope's book, Anti-Diva. Yeah. And so you're about to hear us talk to Carole Pope for a while about very many things, and we hope you enjoy.
And I have just one last thing to say.
Yes, please, Katya. What is that?
Her papal intricacies are not explored in this interview.
Sadly, yeah. We felt it was too touchy of a topic.
But nonetheless...
we still had it in our minds.
Yeah.
And we'll be playing little clips of some of her songs through the years and her new fabulous song, This Is Not a Test. Go buy that now and enjoy the rest of the show.
We're rolling.
And we're really excited to have Carole Pope here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Excited to be here.
Right.
Yeah, in WeHo.
Your old neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
What part of WeHo did you live in?
Oh, everywhere, because I'm a serial mover. So I'd move back and forth between here and New York. I'm still doing that. But I lived on Laurel and Hayworth. I think I lived on Laurel like 3 times, though.
Yeah, you had a thing for Laurel.
I did have a thing. Well, because rent control apartments, which I
I
don't.
know, but which is what we're in now too, and
Oh, really?
I'm hoping it stays. There's some scuttlebutt about the building maybe being sold. No one quite knows, but I think they'd have to upgrade it to such a level that they would have to. It would be like a gym or something in here. But I think,
oh my God.
maybe if they can just bring it up to code, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
We saw our lovely hallways, of course. Yeah, the lovely
Yeah.
Walk
hallways.
through about 16 fire doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to go through a lot of those because you feel like you're going to some sort of like a court process or something.
How do you feel about Los Angeles these days?
I'm over it.
Yeah.
Haven't you been over it in their book? There's many times where it seems like you were definitely over Los Angeles.
I know. I came back here 4 years ago for a stupid reason, and then as soon as I got here, I was over it.
What was the stupid reason? I love a stupid reason.
I'm not telling you the stupid.
okay.
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 Maybe we'll guess later. It'll be a fun game.
Okay. And then my best friend in the world moved to Lucca in Tuscany, and
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
like,
Shit, wow.
wait, my bestie is gone.
Oh no.
Oh, that always stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you've lived here a number of times, but you still live sometimes in New York?
No, I've lived in New York a couple of times, and I want to move back because I wrote a musical with a friend of mine in New York, Kate
oh,
Rigg,
cool. Yeah.
and trying to get it happening. And there's no way I could get it happening here. Not that we can for sure get it happening there, but it's kind of easier to present to people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of like sort of the done thing, right?
Yeah, and she went to Juilliard, so
Oh, wow.
anytime we've done like read-throughs, she's just called people from, that she used to go to school with, and
Mhm.
it's just, and I tried to do a reading here, and it was like a nightmare. So I'm like, I'm over it.
And you spent a lot of time in New York around the time of Saturday Night Live as well. Were you there before that era as well?
Yeah, because Rough Trade, my band Rough Trade, we for some reason would always drive to New York and do gigs, because it was easy in those days.
Because you were based in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would go. I don't know how it all started, but yeah, we played New York a lot.
And it was a good time to be playing New York a lot, right?
It was fantastic in the late 70s and 80s. That was, an amazing time to be in New York.
Right. It's not quite as amazing
Yeah,
now
and
these
also
days.
affordable. Slightly affordable to be in New York at that time. I mean, now it's insane. It's insanely expensive.
Yeah, it's like I mean, my old neighborhood. I was living in the East Village like 4 years ago in a rent-controlled apartment, and
Oh, wow.
now they're 3 times as much. I tried to keep the apartment, believe me, but they wouldn't
Sure.
let me.
Yeah. I know that's a common thing, right? Like if you have any kind of good apartment, you just keep it. Whatever.
It wasn't even good. It was cheap, but but apparently we were over raw sewage. One of my neighbors told me.
Oh,
my
fabulous.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Do you have the address? Because Brian's looking for
Yeah,
a
that's the
cute
kind
little-
of floral and fragrant atmosphere I'm wanting to live in.
Yeah.
Jesus
that reminds me. You said that someone at World of Wonder mentioned that you were at Drag Race
Did
taping
you
at one
ever
point.
Did you ever go
perhaps?
to a drag race taping, or am I imagining that?
You're imagining.
Okay,
Oh,
but
sorry.
I
Shit.
I do know those World of Wonder guys. Some of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
But no, I'm not so much into drag. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
Although in your book, one of my favorite lines is that you're the faggiest dyke you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am a fag dyke because
What does that mean these days, especially for the kids?
I don't know. For me, it just means because I like Broadway. I like musicals,
Okay.
but just faggy.
Yeah.
And the rest of me is dykey.
I love in the book when you talked about really getting into the gossip. Because who doesn't love gossip?
I love gossip so much.
Any good gossip lately? I told you it was going to go downhill.
Yeah, we're trolling. Sorry. We're mining for diamonds.
I don't know.
Already.
Have I heard anything? I don't know. Isn't everything on Facebook?
I think so,
I
yeah.
can't think of anything new.
It's not quite as
I know,
hidden as
and it's
before.
also available instantly. I don't do Facebook, and I try to stay out of Twitter. I don't know.
You try to, but you're on Twitter
But
a lot.
I'm literally on Twitter 36 hours a day.
How do you feel about social media?
Facebook to me is like really tedious because I don't want to know all about your family shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah.
I would never post intimate stuff like that. But I mean, as an artist, you have to be on it.
Sure, exactly. Yeah,
And sometimes I'm like, oh, I should be posting more. I like Instagram because it's just, you can throw up a picture and
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
it's really easy, low maintenance.
Yeah, there's a
And-
definite difference. Yeah.
And Twitter I like, but I just keep forgetting about it.
I do too. If I do tweet, I'll be basically copying whatever I did on Instagram.
Oh,
Just
sure.
send it like a record of the day or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like throwing stupid bits of information because I'm just an idiot.
But people love that though.
Yeah.
Like when you posted, so we had a video of Brian dancing in a very sort of
provocative
sultry fashion to George Benson's "Turn Your Love Around," and people seem to really enjoy it. So.
There's no accounting for taste. Sorry about it.
Wow.
George Benson always makes you smile, though, right? Actually, I remember in your book, you at one moment you're talking to someone about. I think you're talking to Tina Turner about George Benson's plastic surgery.
The only time I met Tina Turner, she was talking about black people getting white people surgery, and she mentioned George Benson, and I forget who else.
Who else
mentioned,
was under the blade? Yeah,
I don't know, but she went off on George Benson. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Rough Trade too, because you guys were really a pioneering group. High School Confidential, was that your first single?
Well, for a real label, yeah.
Okay, right.
Because before that album, that was from a Void Freud, but before that we did a direct-to-disc recording, which is like the way they used to make records in the ye olden days, where you go into a room and record a whole album and somebody's mastering it at the same time.
Right, and you had to do, so it was like live to tape essentially, but it was live to disc.
Live to disc, and there was like, we did 53 takes.
My God.
Did you start to lose your mind after a while doing that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But it sounded really good. But it's not my favorite record.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But anyway, yeah, so High School Confidential, I guess, was our first single. I don't even know.
It was a single.
It was
we
a single.
got that for sure.
Yeah.
And, it was scandalous because we went on the Juno Awards, which are the Canadian Grammys.
Yeah.
I have many Juno Awards, which mean nothing to Americans.
Well, my parents are Canadian, so I'm like moderately familiar with I love the part in the book you talk about the specific nature of the Canadian star system.
I mean, everybody knows everybody. I mean, I've met everybody Canadian. And then I love to tell Americans that people are Canadian because they're like, really?
I actually kind of enjoy that too, probably just through my parents being Canadian.
Your parents are Canadian?
Oh, yeah, they're from Nova Scotia.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, a good friend
Do you
of mine.
still want to do the
performer.
show?
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. My good friend Damon Green is from Manitoba.
Oh, that's right.
She came to LA and with the acting and the performing stuff, and she just the whole LA vibe is some foreign beast to her, and she just has to live in her bubble to maintain some kind of sanity, I suppose.
But that's like a flyover province.
What does that mean? What is that?
Well, like flyover state here. The sort of disregarded, perhaps.
yeah.
Except
The
Winnipeg.
lost land.
Winnipeg, Manitoba is like really cool and quirky and weird.
Oddly, that was the stronghold for Phantom of the Paradise. When that came out, it was huge in France and in Winnipeg. It played for like 2 years. Everywhere else, it played for about 2 weeks and
Wow.
dropped out.
Well,
Yeah.
Winnipeg is, I think, the home of one of my favorite directors, Guy Madden.
That's right. I think it is.
Oh yeah, Winnipeg, and the movie "The Saddest Music in the World."
Oh, I have to see that.
You got to see that. Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
I do.
No, I haven't
it's
seen it.
so good.
It's Canadian, so I haven't seen it.
You like to know if they're Canadian, and when you find that out, you're like, I refuse to
get out
indulge
of my
in their
house.
works. Yeah.
Get
No,
out.
not really. I just haven't heard of it. Although I do like Guy Madden.
I like that rule, though. It's Canadian.
Yeah,
I won't. Absolutely.
I don't want it.
It's the reverse of the Canadian content rule, right? So the CBC, for those listening who don't know, have a rule about programs that needs to be a certain percentage of, I guess not just CBC, but all.
CanCon, Canadian content.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
CanCon.
Yeah.
And that's how we have the Mackenzie brothers from SCTV, the Great White North, for those who are familiar. If not, we'll post a clip.
We'll post a clip.
Yeah. Because they had to fill 2 minutes a time of specifically Canadian content. So Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis just got drunk and made up a bunch of stuff.
Man, they were really Canadian, eh?
And you have a lot of connections with the SCTV people. The way I found you, your work for the first time was through SCTV.
My partner, rough trade partner, and I used to actually go and watch Second City. All the time we used to smoke some doobs. And my sister was the manager at the theater, and we'd go all the time, and it was like just phenomenal because it was like Gilda Radner, Danny Aykroyd, and Andrea Martin and Eugene Levy. And sometimes the Chicago people would come, and then you'd get to see Bill Murray.
Sure.
And, John Candy. It was like amazing. So what better thing to do every night than smoke up and...
Right. Go see like the best comedy available.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also there's a interesting connection between rockers and comedians.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, we know each other? We love each other?
Sometimes comedians want to be like rock stars like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. Also, a lot of musicians tend to enjoy the comedic stuff.
And I think I'm pretty funny on stage. I like to be funny. Bitter and funny.
That's a combo we enjoy quite a bit. Well, we were talking about drag before and how you're not that into drag. And of course, Brian is known for his drag work as Katya
on the Drag Race show.
on the Drag Race show, and
Which I've never
some
seen.
listeners
You've
might
never
be familiar.
seen it?
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. We've never seen it either.
Yeah,
I hear rumors
seen
from
one
him.
episode. Never seen one
Well,
episode.
I don't know. I just used to be into drag, and then I was like, okay, I'm over it. What else? And then I was
Yeah.
into drag kings, and now there are no drag kings because it seems all weirdly politically incorrect. Although
Yeah.
I think so hot.
Uh-huh.
And I work with Divine, so
Yeah,
who can top that?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. How do you?
Yeah.
I mean, where do you go from there? What was it? And you just described Divine as one of the most professional and easygoing people to work with. And what was like? Can you give us some tidbits for the listeners at home about working with Divine?
Well, Gavin Staples and I wanted to do this crazy musical cabaret thing, and we went to New York, and because we were a big fan of Divine's movies, and went to New York and saw Divine in Women Behind Bars, in which Divine plays a prison matron.
Mm-hmm.
What could be better?
Yeah, exactly.
Abusing the inmates.
Sold. Done.
Yeah.
Good.
Where's that musical?
I don't know. And then we went backstage and we're like, do you want to be in a stupid musical with us? And Divine had never sung before. So that was
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
And didn't understand the structure of a song and where the verse and chorus was. Also interesting. But we did this crazy show at Massey Hall. This is in the 70s before he had a record deal, called Restless Underwear. And there was like some bad acting and
It's the best kind.
Yeah.
a set. Was it a round bed or a heart-shaped bed? I can't even remember. It's a bed. There was a guy on a leash. There was sailors. But people loved it. And we stupidly really didn't even film it.
Well, it was much harder then.
Yeah,
right?
in those days.
Yeah.
And we did it in New York, and it was a disaster because half the audience was there to see us and half to see Divine. And we got
yeah.
booed. And it was like...
Oh yeah, you describe it as like the warring factions in the crowd. And
Yeah.
like, how do you manage that kind of tension? You just kind of roll with it. And say
We just did. I mean,
Yeah.
I will just plow through anything.
Yeah.
I could be wanting to vomit, and I will plow through whatever. Because
Yeah.
I guess I'm a pro. I guess I've been doing it a while.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But also, Divine taught us how to walk out on a check in a restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's helping each other. This is sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Incredible.
also, we were rehearsing at the CBC, and we went into the costume department, and Divine took a few little outfits. But, that's the gay thing to do.
Yeah, sexual terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Mopping is it?
Oh yes,
yeah, we'll call it.
mopping.
Yeah.
Mopping is stealing.
And I forgot to mention why I was bringing up High School Confidential, because we were talking about the pioneering aspects of Rough Trade. Is that the first song that was a pop hit that was a woman singing about desire for another woman?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Certainly in Canada.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, but actually we wrote it Kevin and I worked on a movie called Cruising.
I have the video disc right up over there.
The video disc.
Let me grab it because it's fun. It's worth interrupting.
Yeah. He's obsessed.
Oh my God, that is so heavy. What the hell?
So that was the.
Can I take a picture of this?
Oh, absolutely.
I've
Please.
never seen anything like this.
This delights me,
It's beyond.
It's insane, right? So that was the intended competition for Laserdisc, but the trouble is it's really heavy. It's prone to dust-related damage, and you have to put the thing into the player. The player extracts basically a vinyl record that has the film on it, and then you have to flip it over, which you had to do with Laserdisc anyway. And then the artwork is so great. Like I collect that, and like for the one for Body Double, and
I didn't even know there was such a thing as a video disc.
very few people.
I don't even know
That's
what
the-
a video disc is.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
know an 8-track, but I don't know what that thing is. But it's really heavy.
It's super heavy.
Can
Yeah.
I feel it?
Oh, absolutely. And they're so easily damaged
Holy
that
shit, it is heavy.
Yeah. If you drop that, what is it? Is it made out of
What the
glass?
fuck is it?
I went to the Museum of Failure, and I didn't see that there. No, there really was a museum.
Downtown,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I've gotta
But
go
they
to that. I
didn't
know
have
about
that.
It's funny that my little management company is right next to the Museum of Failure, which is very hilariously apropos to my
You can look out the window and be
style.
like, just remember,
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. It's right around the corner, bitch. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So back to Cruising. So how did that come about that you were working on Cruising?
I have no idea. They just phoned me one day.
There you go. That's the answer. Yeah.
Amazing.
They phoned me one day. They knew Rough Trade.
Yeah.
Jack Neach was writing the score, and
Yeah.
he's a god.
Sure, worked
Because
Neil Young and...
The Shining.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He did a lot of orchestral scores, but also worked with the Rolling Stones. And then William Friedkin, he did a couple of
It's
good...
one of my very favorites.
He did a
all
couple of
time.
good flicks like
Yeah.
The Exorcist. And
Yeah.
Just a couple.
To Live and Die in L.A. as well. Which
Two-
is one
oh, I
one
love
my
that
favorite.
movie.
Isn't that
I
one
love
of the
that
best?
movie.
Yeah.
To Live and Die in L.A.
That soundtrack is so good.
Yes, but we digress. What were we saying? Oh,
That's
yeah.
what we do on the show.
Yeah,
That's,
sorry.
Okay.
We're often
Yeah.
prone to tangents.
So you were talking. We went off track at Friedkin.
So I went to New York to an editing room where William was sitting, and he showed me some stabbing and killing. I was like, oh my God, people are going to be offended by this, but of course I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm like, oh my God, those queens are going to be angry. Because there can't be a gay serial killer.
Right.
But anyway, Al Pacino plays a gay undercover cop trying to find this serial killer.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets sucked into the whole life, which I'm like, yes, sign me up.
Right. He was resistant at first, then he's starting to maybe feel some things for the fellas.
I'm feeling some shit.
He gets very into his eye makeup at one point, which is great.
Yeah, and I love when he dances because he's so horrible. Such a
God.
horrible dancer.
One of the greatest scenes, we'll put it up for listeners who haven't seen it. We should do Cruising for Movie Club. One of the things we do is now we have a movie club. So we'll have to do one on cruising. His dancing, the scene where he sniffs. Do you know what the drug is that they're doing in that? Because it's a soaked handkerchief, and it can't be poppers, right? Because poppers burns the skin.
I don't know. Poppers, you pop. So
or they're in the little bottle.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing.
I was just curious.
Turpentine?
Maybe it was turpentine, yeah.
Maybe some 70s drug that or 70s, 80s drug that we've forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's been relegated
by
to
the wayside.
No one wants to revive
Yeah,
it.
the
there's
hanky drug.
The hanky drug, yeah. If anyone out there knows what the hanky drug is, please let us know.
Maybe it's chloroform.
Maybe
Could be.
it was poppers. It feels like they were.
It could just be you being like rotten about it and soaking it. And,
Yeah.
Or maybe they diluted it.
Maybe
be.
they couldn't stand it full on.
Yeah.
Diluted, but
I think I only did one once and was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. But it's supposed to stop heart attacks.
Oh, is it?
I think.
Oh, that's right. It opens up it's a vasodilator.
Dilator.
That's right.
Vasodilator.
And relaxes the smooth muscles as
I'm
they...
going to move over here because.
We're too loud.
No, because I have a little balance problem that I'm dealing
okay.
with.
Carole, it's okay. I smell like human feces. You can just say it.
No, you smell good.
It's an improvement over animal feces, which was last week's
Last week was dog
vibe.
shit.
Yeah.
Today it's just human shit. I'm trying to work on
Okay.
my stuff.
Well, it's a new perfume line he's trying to work out. Branding and all that.
Yeah.
You injected stainless steel chrome, moving across town, driving on. Push the speedometer, let the clutch out, move this machine, pull the stops out, step on the gas, got to get going. Just in a state of suspension, shake down on the speedway, break down on the speedway, shake down on the speedway. Just got to get away on the speedway, break down on the speedway, shake down on the speedway. Just got to get away.
So we did that, which is very interesting working with Jack Neach.
And also, what was it like working with Friedkin? How much interaction did you have with him?
Really not that much. Only the first time, I think the only time I met him was when he was just showing me some clips on that old editing machine that they used to use.
The Moviola?
Is that what, yeah, right.
I think so, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so basically, you're watching it on a screen that's like 10 inches by 10 inches or something?
I guess, yeah.
Which just adds, I think, to like the snuff film vibe with the stuff from Cruising,
But the whole time I'm just trying to be cool because I'm like, oh my God, I'm here with William Friedkin. And he knows who I am. And he likes the band.
Yeah.
And then I'm with Jack Neach, who is really lovely but insane. So we wrote this. I'm like, I'm going to write this song. And Mink DeVille, who also worked on it, I'm like, Mink DeVille could do this song. And then they...
High School Confidential.
Confidential. And then they didn't want it. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And then it was a big breakout.
CBS in the U.S. didn't chip in any bucks because
Okay.
they didn't understand about tour support in those days. Oh, they were idiots. But yeah, then we were on Boardwalk, and then the president of Boardwalk died, and Neil Bogart.
Neil Bogart from Casablanca Records.
Sorry, yeah, Casablanca.
Well, no, I mean that's just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was not good for us.
No, that's never good
Yeah.
for the label boss dies.
Because
yeah.
we charted. We had a single, All Touch, No Contact, and that was charting. And then I think we only played like not that many. We did a lot of press stuff, but we didn't. We played L.A. and Seattle and Boston and New York, and that's all I can remember.
Sure. And also, that's what hampered your extending the tour with Bowie, right?
We're like, Bowie wants us to go on some, do some more dates with him, and CBS would not give us any money.
They didn't see the point of it or something.
Yeah, really, that we would expand our audience,
And that was for the Serious Moonlight tour.
Yeah.
So you did a bunch of shows in Canada
Yeah.
with him.
and did a TV special, which we can't find. Yeah,
Right. Well, I'll have to be on the case for that. I love
Yeah,
you
you're
for that.
going to get Detective Craig McNeil
Exactly.
on the case.
Yeah.
I was wearing really good gloves. I had some gauntlets, and I want them now. I wish I had them.
Oh, yeah. Rough Trade's fashions
Oh my God.
are so fantastic. Yeah.
It's the which video did we watch the other day? It was the
Crimes of Passion? Yeah.
God damn, that video is so good. I want to see more videos.
Oh, we didn't make that many videos, but
The ones you did, though, are great.
oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because again, support from the label.
Well, sure. Yeah, you kind of need that. I mean, was Territorial the last video that Rough Trade made?
Oh no, we did Sexual Outlaw.
Oh, okay. Because I remember in the book you said that, was it your manager? I'm not sure who, but basically put a consortium of people who were looking for a tax dodge together.
Yeah. So we could do Territorial. That's
Right.
why we had to do the making of. You have to do the making of so they get their tax dodge.
Which is great. We'll post the making of sometime soon.
I think I have that on VHS, so I won't be watching it anytime soon.
I tracked that down once. I was telling you before we went
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I was because the rarer something is, the more I have to have it. Then I'm like, I must see this because
Must have.
it. Yeah.
But what was it like performing with David Bowie?
It was incredible, but just because we got to reach a much larger audience, and he was really sweet, and there was traveling sushi chefs, and
I mean, that's really the highest thing.
Traveling
Yeah.
sushi chefs.
yeah, I mean the backstage food was yummy, and just the whole vibe was really wonderful, and I would just watch him every night, and
It's not a bad thing to
No.
spend the evening doing, right?
yeah.
I can think of worse ways to spend an evening.
And then we would just go hang out with the band and do tons of blow and stuff like that.
You do mention a lot of that in the book, the drug use at the time.
Yeah.
There was some blow.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
lie
A little
about
bit
it.
of cocaine.
Yeah,
Just a little bit of cocaine.
just a little bit of rails.
Just a touch, just
Yeah.
a little seasoning.
Yeah.
Well, it went well with the fashions as well.
Yeah.
Yes. The fashions. We were obsessed with fashion. All our friends were obsessed with fashion. But yeah, Rough Trade specifically wanted a look. We wanted, a vibe.
Sure.
We wanted to,
A distinctive.
we wanted
Yeah.
to have certain, sometimes have sets on stage, which is not always easy in a little bar or whatever. But
Sure.
But as we played bigger venues, we would just, we'd like to have some, just not come out and be a band, but have something else for the people to look at. And
Right.
and just, we were obsessed with 80s designers.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you talk also about like the crossover between the art world and like thinking about, what was it? I like it, but is it art?
Oh,
And,
right.
Nowadays it's like, it's hard it doesn't seem like anything is art anymore, like with social media and with like, Instagram and like self-promotion, and then like the bureaucracy and capitalism of the art world is kind of like, it's all been done, or how do you like kind of strive for like freshness or new looks like today? I don't know.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Yeah, because when we started playing this group of Canadian artists, General Idea, we became friends with them, and they were into performance art and making installations, and they designed 4 of our album covers, which are pretty unique and I think collectible.
Yeah.
And 2 of them died of AIDS. And they did a lot of AIDS related art, like big installations. And anyway, But yeah, we would all, like, everybody hung out with everybody in those days. And we all would be in New York or London or, Toronto. And it was all like this amazing scene going on, which is not really happening now.
It seems like that's gone with that era.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fucking tragedy.
Because you always want to think, oh, am I just thinking like, oh, it's the kids these days? But it really just seems that it's not happening whatsoever.
No, and I mean, everything is like, I've already seen everything 50 times
Right.
Yeah.
because I'm old. But please come up with something new. I mean, I want to be inspired, and it's like so rare that you see anything like that. I mean, I think Bjork is like crazy wacky that way and always, pushing the envelope. But there's not that much of it, and everybody, and there are so many insipid artists who I just want to stab in the eyeball.
Care to name a few?
I don't know. Some band with a chick that can't sing. Or some band with a chick that sings through her nose. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. At least there's a band. Sometimes it's not even that. There's just the nasal. Yeah.
What do you make of all that? I mean, is it it is hard to feel inspired by if anything goes. It's is there any barometer for what's good anymore? And there's just so much out there. How do you even find I have the same problem, but I don't know. Nothing really inspires me.
Yeah, once in a while I'll hear a song that I like, or I'll see a band that's interesting. And I mean, I do think there's some amazing artists out there, but most of them have been around for a while, you know.
Right. I can't remember if you mentioned in the book, but I always love hearing anything about Coco Schwab. And I think you mentioned that she was radiating a very specific kind of vibe. And Coco Schwab, for those who don't know, was David Bowie's longtime personal assistant and guardian, if you will.
Yes, like keep away from David. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only read things about her being a little bit frosty. Like it was.
She scared me.
Really?
She's like, you can't get near David, but I got near David.
David came to you, right?
David, the first time we opened for him, he started gossiping with me and and hugged me, and it was like really sweet. And then, but yeah, Coco was always swabbing around.
You were friends with Kim Cattrall.
Yeah.
And back in the day. And I wanted to know if you ever heard her scat video. Scat singing, let me just clarify.
No.
All right. Well, we are in for a treat, Carole Pope.
We were kind of neighbors in Toronto. I met her when I think had just done Tribute with, what's his name?
Jack Lemmons. Johnny Lemons, right?
Johnny Lemons.
Johnny Lemons. Jack Lemmon.
Classic.
And Robbie wasn't...
Oh, Robbie Benson?
Robbie Benson.
Okay, yeah.
And we went to a party, and the ex-prime minister was there, Trudeau, Pierre Trudeau. And I met him, and I'm like, he's totally hot for a guy in his 60s. He was like really...
So he had it, like, because he was the sort of the man about town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later his wife Margaret Trudeau came to see us.
She's the one, right, who supposedly had an affair with Jagger. Is that right?
No, I think it was Ron Wood.
Wait,
I don't know.
what?
Oh, Ron Wood. Oh, yeah. The Trudeaus
She was just with the Stones, She's hanging with the Stones. And then she was in the audience.
Bit of blow,
like,
bit of Stones. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. She was in the audience.
Yeah.
And it caused kind of a stir, right?
Yeah, and we were trying to be cool. Margaret Trudeau's in the audience.
Did anyone ever show up at a show that you were way into that, like, it freaked you out or you were surprised?
Like, lots of weird people would come to our shows.
Well, we're fans, so we understand.
Yeah.
Xavier Hollander, the Happy Hooker.
The Happy Hooker.
The Happy Hooker.
Who's that? Wait, what is the Happy Hooker?
She wrote a book. Did she write?
That's right. There was a book and then there was a movie based on it.
Yeah.
I was foggy there.
The Happy Hooker.
I can't remember. There was just all kinds of crazy at our parties, at our show. Sorry, it wasn't like a party.
I can't imagine.
And some penises would show up.
Oh.
Some penises would pop out once in a while, which was very interesting.
All right. There's a passage in your book where you talk about a man in the audience who jerks off into his shoe.
Yeah, that was in New York.
Of course. Very New York.
We were doing a show in New York, and we look in the corner, there's a guy jerking off in his shoe. And we were like, is he going to put that back on his foot when he's done?
I know. I mean, these are the questions.
These are the questions.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on stage. You've heard these songs, so you're thinking about other things.
Yeah, we are. We're like, what?
And then you always wonder, like, how long did he had it out for? What song that sparked that for him?
These days, all you get is just people filming it on their phones.
I know.
Nobody's jerking off into their shoes, or maybe they could jerk off onto their phones. Or
No,
something,
I
at
wish.
least.
Yeah, if they weren't on it. I mean, I hate the whole phone thing.
Do you?
Yeah.
when you see like a sea of people just recording
Yeah.
something.
I will, be in the moment. I mean, I got to be in the moment, and it's a lot better than
Yeah.
shooting a video of it.
So here's Kim Cattrall.
Yamakipiebo, sedere facebo, in dog Latin, he quoth, UJ, Sophis, hooray!
Her husband's playing stand-up bass, and
What? Which husband?
Mark.
Well, he bit all the he-dogs and winked at all the she-dogs. The town never knew such a hullabaloo as that little dog raised till the end of that day.
It's a shame there isn't an album. That's.
Kim, make an album. I didn't even know
just
that
have a good
she.
rhythm.
Oh, what's this?
He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.
Wow.
That's certainly true, isn't it?
Kimmy.
I love that recently she said the whole Sex and the City hubbub. She was like, look, I've never been friends with them. I don't like Sarah Jessica Parker. I just like when anyone just comes out and is fully like scorched earth about anything.
Wow. I think she liked them in the beginning. I mean, I remember when she got that gig and she was all excited. I didn't see her for a few years after that. And then I saw her in New York before I left, and she invited me over for whatever, Breck brunch, and lives in a fabulous apartment on Park Ave.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, you made some money from that show.
Yeah.
Do it, girl.
Things are going, yeah.
Yeah.
Get the cash. It must be, I mean, I imagine it must be weird when you're part of a thing like that, of a franchise that just gets out of, you don't know, in Hollywood relationships. I mean,
And I had to ask, what was Kim really thinking?
Yeah. I couldn't help but wonder, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
People talk shit about LA all the time. And so you've lived here in a number of places, but you've lived here a lot. So how much truth do you think there is to the sort of cliche version of what people say about LA?
What do they say?
That people are basically phony,
People are
careerists.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that people will actually, in case you might be somebody, they'll actually have a meeting with you,
Yeah.
in case
Right.
they're missing out on something,
Right,
which is
right.
unheard of anywhere else. I just find that people are flaky because they flake on you at the last minute. Even like friends I've had for years.
Yeah.
And you make plans. You have to make 2 or 3 backup plans because they're gonna fucking flake on you.
Yeah. It's just a
And
guarantee.
I just want to. I'm like, in New York, that doesn't happen in New York or
Uh-huh.
Toronto or anywhere else I've lived. So
Why is that? Just because it's just
they're like, I don't want to drive. It's too far
That's-
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the west side still.
Oh, I don't feel good. Yeah, I'm on the west. The traffic. Shut up.
I've got an early call.
Yeah.
I've only lived in LA for a year and a half, and I've been guilty of that same thing. I'm just like, you live over there. I'm like, oh God, it's 45 minutes in a car.
I've gotten more like that the longer I've been here. I'm here just under 4 years from Massachusetts. So
I don't drive anymore, so I'm just like, I'll take a lift.
yeah, it's great.
All
Then
right.
you could just read something or whatever
Yeah.
during it. Yeah.
I still take lifts, and I'm still that way.
Oh, you're still. Oh,
I
bemoaning the
don't even
distance.
drive, but I just don't want to get in the car.
No, I don't either.
I mean, a car's a death trap.
Yeah.
It's
That's the optimistic way to look at it.
There's so many. I'm not afraid of anything other besides car wrecks these days. You have such a high chance of getting killed in a car
By some person who's texting.
by their texting. I was walking. I live on up the street, and I was waiting very diligently to cross the road, and all these cars that were zooming by. They're just
Yeah.
everybody has their phone out.
Oh, it's the
And I'm like,
scariest
I just
thing.
want to yell at them. You're gonna die.
I know, but who cares?
But who
Who
cares,
cares about them? They're expendable.
Survival.
We
of
need
the
to cull
fittest.
some people out of here.
They're doing it for us, which is
Yeah,
helpful.
they
Yeah.
are culling themselves.
Yeah.
That for some reason reminds me about the passage in your book about Bernie Taupin, because I had a rotten experience with Bernie Taupin once, and I'd like for you to share your experience with Bernie Taupin with the listeners.
Well, where did I meet him? I can't even remember.
It's like a
'cause-
party. It was
Yeah, at a party. He knew a friend of mine who was a bass player, Prakash John, who's amazing.
you played with Alice Cooper a lot, and
Yeah. Bernie was like, wanted to sleep with me. And then I'm like, I'm a dyke. And we were in a hotel room somewhere, and he's like, he just was very persistent. And I kept saying, well, ew, I'm not into, if I was going to sleep with a man, it wouldn't be you. No, I didn't say that. David Bowie maybe, but
Right.
Daniel Craig maybe, but anyway, and I just he was just nagging me, and I just finally left the room, and he was sitting in the middle of the floor, just like being a brat.
Oh my
Belligerent
And I'm
kind of.
sorry I've offended. I know Elton loves him, and he's written some cool tunes, but he was just like weird.
Well, listen, I love that part of the book because I went to see one of his terrible solo shows in the late 90s. And at the time, it was too expensive to go. It was at this club in Boston, the Paradise. And it's about 1,000-person venue. And a friend of mine goes, oh, no, they're papering the house because it's not selling that well. Well, that well turned out to be about 11 to 12 people. And I think half of us were papered. So we're there, and Bernie, who was sort of very public about chiding Elton about Elton's substance abuse, and very public about his AA thing, or however people handle that when they're in AA publicly, he started drinking martinis in one gulp at the back of the stage. Not great. And he starts getting a little grouchy on stage. When you're at a show and there's not that many people there, you want to sort of convey your enthusiasm, or like, hey, we're with you. So he said something like, this next song's about rock and roll and leather. And he's wearing leather pants. I just go, yeah, ooh. And he looked down and derisively goes, if you're into that sort of thing. And I was like, okay, we're off to an interesting start. Yeah. Wow. Then he lumbered off the stage, and in a move that I saw Dave Grohl do this, he jumped off the stage, ran around the crowd. It was exciting and fun, and then giving people high fives. But when there's no one in the audience, it looks like you're just like trying to find the bathroom.
Where is the bathroom?
Yeah.
I'm full of martinis. I need the bathroom.
Does anybody have any Coke?
I've got to have a slash.
So he hops off, nearly knocks my diminutive friend Eric over, then slaps him on the back, runs around, gets back on stage, and continues with his new bad music. Then the promoter had said, listen, bring whatever you want to have signed because it's going to be an intimate crowd. So he co-wrote an Alice Cooper album, From the Inside. So I brought that and the Captain Fantastic album. So we're in line, and I go up and I go, Mr. Taupin, I was like 20. So I was like, oh, Mr. Taupin, it's a delight to meet you. And as I'm saying that, he goes, what the fuck did you bring Elton's fucking shit here for? Wow. I wish that I had the wherewithal that I would have now to be like, oh, you fucking drunk. Fuck you. But I was like, and he just keeps laying into me. What the fuck? This is my fucking show. You should have my fucking album. And I'm like thinking, like, don't you get royalties from all these records? Like, right? Maybe the fact that the Alice album was about drying out from booze maybe sparked something in him. But he signed the Alice album twice, signed the back of the poster for the Fantastic, and I'm just trying to get away from him. And he just keeps laying into me. So I was thrilled to read that in your book, your characterization of Bernie.
Yeah, he was lovely.
God.
But Elton seems to like him.
Yeah. Well, they work well together, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, because we're talking about Bernie and his substance problems, perhaps, whatever those might be. And you were with Dusty Springfield, who had a few problems with
a couple of
substance
problems.
stuff.
Yeah.
And we were wondering about what it's like to be in that sort of scene of, there's blow around, there's booze, whatever, there's partying. But then when you start to either notice or have to deal with someone who has a problem with a capital P, because Brian's had issues as well.
I've had issues, and it's like having to, especially with working relationships and also romantic relationships, like how do you negotiate that time where you see things and they're like, oh fuck, this is a real problem.
Well, you turn into a policeman and you're like hiding alcohol, and they're hiding alcohol,
right.
and you're finding it.
Right.
And they just hide stuff, or they go through all your stuff and find, because she found like pills I had, like painkillers, and it was intense. It was very, very intense. And then I'm going to be all Al-Anon. About this because I was with I was with an alcoholic because I thought, I can change her, my love will change her, but that is not the way it works.
Sure, right.
But I'm thrilled that she finally got sober, and I know she had a difficult life and a lot of issues, and
right.
So it was a roller coaster ride being with her, but I'm kind of glad I was, because she was fascinating and charming and funny and so innovative and talented, and
right.
But you had to deal with the drinking and cutting and whatever.
Yeah. Sure, right. And that sort of erodes the romantic relationship, I imagine.
Yeah.
You get over that stuff fast.
That's a buzz.
And then I'm like, I have to get out. I just wanted to get out of it. But I kind of knew going into it But really, I was being so naive because I hadn't been with a real hardcore person with substance abuse problems. Yeah, I was like kind of naive, and at the end, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
And now I don't even want to be with anybody who's even in recovery.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, you've been drained of that amount of.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I've discovered about alcoholics is they're narcissists.
Okay.
So you have to also deal with that because everything is about them, and they're always late. I mean, I have friends who are in recovery, but they're always late and disrespectful and.
Oh, it's either they say top of the mountain or bottom of the barrel. Either way, it's all about me.
Yeah.
Even
though they're all, I mean, narcissists are very charming people, but I don't want to be with anybody with any kind of problem.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, everybody's got problems, but something.
Cuter problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find my keys.
Yeah. What's my name?
Is my cat still alive?
They keep denting the fender, but it's cute.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
I have the same thing where like I've grown past the part where I've like, okay, all that drugs and alcohol stuff doesn't make you a better artist or musician or anything. It's just drama. And I'm like, I want the kind of problems that I'm like, what should I have for lunch?
Exactly. That is a big problem.
It's a huge problem.
What
yeah.
should I eat? How many glasses of water is it acceptable for me to drink today?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it raining? No? Great.
Thank God, because I was going down the tubes there for a second. Yeah. That's what you want. You want mundane problems.
You don't want to be exhausted by somebody that you're with. You don't want somebody to just drain the life out of you.
It's always so
Right.
much work. Like, and some of my friends until very up to very recently, like, okay, who are you today? What's the personality today?
What's your name today? Is that a song? I think it is.
I think it's a new song.
Yeah.
A new song that
I
you.
think it might be a song, but
We'll research that.
And so your title of the book is Anti-Diva.
yes.
Yeah, and you just like we described.
You had a bookmark
Dusty.
passage that you wanted to
Oh
read
yeah,
aloud.
I do.
Do you like your
actually.
words thrown back at you?
I can't remember them. So
Is it obnoxious for me to do
Wait,
this?
you can't just read anything you want, say anything you want, and be like, "That's really
Oh, yeah,
powerful
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah,
said
yeah.
that," and then do
Yeah.
something insulting to someone else, not to
Yes.
her,
So,
and then attribute to her.
So
yeah.
on page 34, you say that I am a dumbass bitch. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you didn't even know you two knew each other. While you're looking for that, I want to bring up the last man you ever slept with, Bob Ezrin.
was that the last man I slept with?
According to your book, according to Brian's book.
Yeah.
Oh, what about him? Was that the last man I slept with? I can't even remember.
Maybe things have changed. I don't know, but because I was curious about the working relationship, because it's around the time where your band, you've done the show, you've done that stuff, and then you're pretty prominent in Canada, and then Bob Ezrin contacts you about Tim Curry covering Birds of a Feather.
Oh, right. Oh, I think the sex thing happened way before that.
Because he's also a Canadian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we met Bob when he was like 18.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I guess, and I don't know what he did first, Alice Cooper or Lou Reed or whatever. I've known him a lot of years, and we had sex.
It's just a great way to introduce him as the last man he had sex with.
The last
Although I
man.
can't remember for sure.
Well, because for listeners who don't know, Bob Ezrin did all those classic Alice Cooper albums also when he was like 18, 19. He was a wunderkind.
Lou Reed, yeah.
Berlin. Yeah,
Berlin.
yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of brilliant work.
The Wall.
The Wall, just that little album called The Wall.
Yeah, that little thing, yeah.
Which I went to, and then later on I went to try and work on a new Pink Floyd album. It didn't work out.
Oh, that's another interesting thing. Yeah, I think we should talk about. So when Pink Floyd parted ways with Roger Waters, David Gilmour needed a new creative partner, and you were brought in to possibly be that.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were just trying to find lyricists, and so I went to England and tried to write some songs, but
On that houseboat or something? The
the
giant-
studio they had a houseboat studio.
Houseboat studio.
Yeah.
That's cool.
On the Thames, I believe.
On the Thames.
It's a casual, just low-key kind of environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, I'm sure the food was pretty good at that as well.
I can't remember the food. There was eating, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was interesting trying to write lyrics. I mean, I thought I wrote some okay lyrics, but I forget who they ended up working with. I mean, they just like brought in all these people, and I forget
Yeah,
because
sure.
I'd lost interest by then because they weren't paying attention to me anymore. So I was like, I'm over it.
How do you manage competition in the industry?
I don't know. I don't feel like we were really competing with anybody because we were pretty different than anybody.
Well, what about when you get into after the band ceased operation? Basically, you decided to retire the band, right?
Yeah. Oh, and then I was trying to figure out how to write music with people or by myself. That was like a nightmare that took a few years.
Oh.
You walk us through that just a little bit because, you know, you're in this group and I don't know for exactly how many years, but a long time.
Yeah.
And then you're out on your own and you're in LA.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did move to LA eventually. And I wrote with some, I thought I came here because I'm like, oh, well, people want to write with me.
Right.
And people write together here, but it didn't really happen that much. And then I tried to get a record deal. I didn't get one because I used to play a lot when I first moved here in the 89. So I'd play a lot in the 90s. Didn't get a record deal, and then just ended up, releasing my own stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then you stayed here how long?
Oh God, I don't know.
Did you move back after the Northridge earthquake?
No.
Okay.
No, those were good times.
Oh.
The earthquake and the riots, those were good times.
Oh, of course, the riots.
Yeah, remember the riots, darling.
No, I think I moved to New York. When was the first time I moved to New York? 2000. I moved to New York like 10 days before 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow.
Bad timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. If you had to, this is just a stupid question. If you had to live anywhere in the world for the rest of your life and money's no object, where would you go?
Oh, somewhere in Europe, probably London.
London.
Or somewhere in Italy. I don't know. I haven't been everywhere yet, so I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would live in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just say London because I have some friends there.
Mm. I want to read this passage.
Oh yeah.
So when you chose General Idea to shoot and the first album cover, you're talking about glamour. So it says here, they delivered a treatise on glamour in file in the issue with Sandy's foot on the cover. Quote, we knew that in order to be glamorous, we had to become plagiarists, intellectual parasites. We moved in on a history in occupied images, emptying them, reducing them to shells. We filled these shells with glamour, the cream puff innocence of idiots, the naughty silence of shark fins slicing the water. That is fucking amazing.
That is General Idea.
That is like, I mean, I wish that it. I don't know. I'm just glamorizing that time back then with like it just seemed
with the sort of the mix.
Yeah,
between
the mix between artists and musicians and like real
designers
and creativity and like a movement and. I don't know. It's hard. I guess
yeah,
it's
people
hard
should look up General Idea in the 80s because it's fascinating, especially because they were gay and just so far ahead of their time and so brilliant.
Yeah. Oh.
We also were talking about words because it's such a well-written book and your lyrics are, fantastic as well and ahead of your time.
Oh,
so,
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And gay, right? So we have
gay.
So
yeah, we have there's we have to play this clip. There's from a Tatum O'Neill just randomly walks up to a man who's sitting down and
don't spoil the
sorry. I won't spoil
it's a film with Richard Burton playing a 60-year-old artist and Tatum O'Neill playing the 16-year-old love interest.
Filmed in Toronto because I saw them in the restaurant.
Oh my God!
Are you?
Oh my God!
Incredible.
I wonder if it's the restaurant in the
Courtyard Cafe,
oh
where
God.
everyone.
I bet it's that. I bet it's the exact.
Oh my
I bet it is,
God.
darling, because it's so glamorous.
Yes, right,
it was
darling.
so glamorous.
Are you gay?
No.
I always like to know if a guy's gay.
And that's it. Just walks away.
Just walks away.
And we were thinking it's a great conversation starter.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Perfect.
and you know which way you can go.
Yeah.
Actually, is this the Courtyard Cafe?
What is that? No, it isn't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'll just cut that out.
And it's Toronto, not Toronto, correct? Or does it matter?
I don't know.
okay.
Toronto.
I was schooled by someone from
Well, you
Canada.
schooled me on that.
But I like to just hold that over
What,
you.
Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Not Toronto. Is it?
I'm sure people pronounce it both ways.
I think they're both
Hogtown.
They're both legal. Words complicated or difficult people because it would help to distract you from your own life. curious if you still found yourself going towards, I mean, you sort of said before that you don't, but that whole pattern of, well, there's a bunch of problems here. I can focus on that and not have to think about my own stuff.
I don't know. I don't do that anymore, but I mean,
Thank God.
It's a common thing, you know?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I certainly gravitate towards, intelligent people, and
Who by nature can sometimes be a little...
yeah, they're problematic, and but I'm attracted to other artists usually. I'm not attracted to like an accountant normally.
Dullards and businessmen.
Oh, it's good. You know, the kind of dinner conversation you can have.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
scintillating.
faction figures.
Plus, when you meet their friends.
Artists are fascinating. So, and sometimes they come with a whole mess of pain.
Yeah. A lot of baggage in that trunk. Yeah.
I had a question about Corey Hart because from the recording sessions,
my sunglasses at night so I can.
because you called him the sweatiest man you've ever met, and I want to know if he still was the sweatiest man you ever met. You haven't met Brian before,
I'm actually
so
the sweatiest man I've ever met. So
You're-
this is
if you were
temperature
Corey,
control. Oh, really?
if you were the core sample, there would be sweat on you right now.
Oh, really? Just buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would just be sweaty. I don't know. I
God.
just noticed he was super sweaty, but adorable. And he had an adorable girlfriend. He was but I guess I noticed that when we were doing Tears Are Not Enough.
for the listeners, which it's like the Canadian equivalent of
We Are the World.
Yeah.
10 beers are not enough. It was our Canadian thing. But, I got to like sing with Joni Mitchell and Neil Young and they were all there. Every Canadian. And Canadians I hadn't heard of course, because
Because you dismiss
Yeah.
the Canadian art coming in these days. And David Foster's Canadian too, right?
yeah.
And you just pulled a face, which I love hearing anything about David Foster.
No, well, I mentioned in the book that he made Paul Hyde and I do 50 takes of our thing, and it was right the first time. He apologized to me. I saw him a few years ago, and he's like, "I have to apologize for making you do 50 takes because the first one was right." I'm like, "I know, because the first take is always right."
Oh my fucking God.
What was it like recording with Rough Trade? How many takes did you commonly do, and how sort of obsessive were you and Kevin about the overdub process?
Not so much. I mean, I wasn't obsessed. I would just be like, I would go for the performance.
Yeah.
And we were just more obsessed with, like, in the days before sampling, just putting weird sounds like vacuum cleaners. And, like, we would just mic all this stuff and try and create all these weird sounds and make them part of the song. So we were more about that. But we didn't have that much time to go crazy because,
Sure.
Canada, not that much money.
It's the answer to everything at the end of the day.
Low budge.
Canada.
Canada, where you hosted the CASBYs, right?
That's right.
And the CASBYs were, what's the equivalent to an
Canadian.
American?
There was nothing. Canadian artists selected by you.
Oh, that's great. So the American Music Awards, essentially.
Yeah.
But the Canadian version. Yeah.
But it was fun. But I worked with Paul Shaffer, and we just would hole up in a hotel room in New York and write all this crap that we would, half of it. They would never let us say on TV, but we'd just like write the script and do all these intros, and then I guess they would try and tone us down a little bit.
But the Canadian television system seems a little bit more lenient than the American.
Oh, they were like amazing. I mean, I have to thank the CBC because they put us on TV and let us do whatever in the olden days. Yeah. They let me do a song called Dyke by Default. I mean,
you don't get that. CBS really was never doing much of that. NBC.
No, we just used to be on these two talk shows.
Oh yeah, what was the talk show that you were on that was like not I can't remember the name.
One
Peter
guy,
something.
Peter Zowski was one thing, and then Canada After Dark. On I guess both shows, and then she would she would bring in all this talent, turn them on to people like Devo and the Runaways.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
But I do remember Kevin and I lost our minds because we were on a show with Buckminster Fuller.
Oh, right.
Who we loved.
Yeah.
I mean, and the mayor of Toronto, and I was wearing a bondage suit, and the mayor of Toronto was like getting all turned on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But they would just have an amazing lineup of people. Like Robin Williams and Fran Lebowitz. And
so that's interesting. You met Robin Williams, yet Corey Hart was still the sweatiest man you ever met.
Corey Hart just seemed sweaty when we were doing Tears Are Not Enough.
Sure, yeah. It could have been a very dry day for Robin at the time.
Oh, was he sweaty? I don't know.
The
I don't
legend
think
goes.
I
yeah.
didn't meet Robin Williams, so I don't know.
Then never mind then. Forget what I said.
So I think you described Bill Murray in the book as just completely insane.
Oh yeah, but I love him. I
Yeah.
love him so much.
Oh my God, I would love to meet him.
And he had a fling with.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, I can
Because
cut
she
that out.
Hates me.
Oh,
no,
really?
okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
let's not talk about it.
No,
got
no,
it.
that's
You
fine.
got
I'll
it.
cut
You
that
got it.
out. I'll cut
You
that
got
out.
it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, actually, you know what happened with the book was, it kind of got. They're like, "Oh, you're finished," and I was like, "Oh, I wanted to cut some stuff out."
Oh, really?
What was,
Yeah.
yeah, because you're so honest and open and raw in the book, and it's hysterical. What was that like? Did you have anxiety after,
Yeah,
producing it?
I did, and I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't mentioned that. And then there were some angry people, and there were some, but most people were okay. But I really didn't want to offend people, and
Yeah. Like, for instance, the fat guy from Loverboy. That's how you refer to the guy in Loverboy.
I don't care about that.
That's one of my, because you list everyone at the Tears Are Not Enough section in great detail,
Yeah.
and then every name, everything spelled perfect, and that fat guy from Loverboy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
They
They
suck.
did something.
That's what you were about to say.
They did something offensive. They were just like. They said something homophobic. Somebody in the band was
Really?
like homophobe, and I got
gosh.
offended. I forget which fat guy it was. Loverboy.
Fat guy number 3.
Fat guy number 3, yeah.
And not to be cruel or body shame, Mr. Loverboy, but there was a recent shows where there was, sort of like, and what's his name from Loverboy as part of the show. And they do the Carney Wilson trick with him. They like almost hide him behind a piano. They stand 3/4 this way and
wow.
stick him behind the piano because the gentleman's
gosh.
not quite as svelte as he used to be. Which I guess wasn't even that
The
svelte
gentleman
then.
is a slob.
He ain't as svelte as he used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there was the.
Well, guys, straight guys especially, they get older and they get fat. They get wide. And I do talk about like some men that I slept with, and I saw them in later years, and like, why are they all so wide? What happened? They're like skinny, and now they're like the size of a building.
Yeah, what does happen? What is that straight epidemic?
I'm not sure because as I guess the straight representative in the room,
Yes.
I
What do you
I am
have to
still
say for your-
confused by my brethren.
Yes,
I don't.
please
No, I mean
speak for
I've had
all
weight
men.
issues, but that was since I was a kid, and whatever. That's something I sort of deal with. But
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about totally. And when I see that, I'm like, why are you letting this? What are you doing to just let it go?
Yeah.
it's-
Please take care of yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Because,
anything about
some of you are cool. And I mean, like sometimes when I'm on Facebook, I'm like, this is death book. And I can't,
Oh no.
I cannot see that these people have passed
Yeah.
away because they've gotten, I mean,
Yeah,
some
sure.
friends of mine from years ago. And I'm like, oh no, look at what you look at now. And then 2 seconds later, they're like, I'm sick. And then they're gone. And it's like sad.
It is kind of an indicator, though, just your
Yeah.
general appearance.
Yeah.
and not in a kind of like body shaming or anything
Yeah.
like way.
No,
but
no.
It's
But
not
yeah,
necessarily overly vain, but it's just like, it's nice to look good.
yeah.
Well, just take care of yourself
Yeah.
because you're probably married and you have a family, and take care of yourself a little bit
Yeah.
so you can be around.
Because some people joke like, "Oh, you're married now, you can let yourself go," which is
Yeah.
kind of a weird thing because it's like, well, that lucky partner.
I never
Yeah.
understood. Yeah, I was like, I never understood that. If I'm going to get married and force somebody into spending the rest of their lives with me, I'm going to be like, keep it up. It's probably
Yeah,
more
yeah.
incentive to like keep them there so they don't go wandering off into the hills looking for somebody else.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
One of the things that we're neglectful in talking about is your great new video and song. This is not a test.
Why, thanks.
Okay, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks, Carol. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
But seriously,
Yeah, no, seriously.
this is not a test. I wrote with a fabulous woman in Toronto who plays theremin. Mm-hmm. The
God
space.
damn, I want to learn how to. Can I interrupt you for 1 second, please? Is the theremin an extremely difficult instrument to play? Do I have any hope of trying to learn it in the next 20 years?
I think you could learn it, but it's not that easy to play.
Okay,
But anyway,
forget
her
it.
name is Clara Venice, and she looks like a Japanese anime character. She's amazing.
Oh my God.
We did a Rough Trade show, a fake Rough Trade. No, it was a real Rough Trade show, and she opened. We had her open for us.
Was this a reunion show?
Yeah, reunion.
How often do you do the reunion shows?
Not very often, and sometimes I do fake Rough Trade without.
What do you mean?
I do.
love this. I love a fake.
This is great.
Fake
Yeah.
Rough Trade.
Bamboozle.
Yeah, I'm
But-
way into fake rough trade. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm in it, but Kevin Staples is not in it. So
And you and Kevin, for those listening who don't know, Kevin's basically the only other consistent member.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Rough Trade really is you and Kevin.
yeah, exactly. So sometimes he doesn't want to do it, or or he's doing something else, and I'll go and play a casino in. I don't know why it's still rough. We do
It is,
rough,
yeah. I mean,
we do rough trade songs, but I get paid a shitload of money, so yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, if you just change the marquee a little bit, the check's better.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to be upset? If I went to see, like, for instance, if I went to see a rough trade show and you weren't singing, I'd be pissed.
Well,
So, other than
I
that,
would too.
This is soft trade. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So we wrote the song. This is not a test.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine here, Jason Mark, who I did another video with, Vagina Wolf, from my last EP, Music for Lesbians, a brilliant EP.
I didn't think I was allowed to buy it. That's the only reason I don't have it. So.
No, it's kind of a parody of Eno and Music for Airports and stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Jason and I were talking about doing a video, and then he wanted to do something different, so he shot a bunch of crazy people against a green screen, and then it looks like it's animated. It's basically animated.
We'll post a link and put a little clip on Instagram too, just like a little segment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, it doesn't look like anything else out there. I don't
No,
think.
it's a very cool video.
Yeah, I really love the look of it, and there's a certain amount of trans, gay action going on.
Love some trans gay action.
We do indeed.
So yeah, and it's my love song for the apocalypse, and people are really liking it, and I'm so happy to have it. I hardly ever do videos, so I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, and I was really excited to see a new song from you, and I was also hoping that would mean that there'll be some shows soon, especially because now I'm in LA. I remember looking at your schedule before, and I'd be like, I'm an LA show, because why would you come to Massachusetts? There's no reason to.
No, but I think I was talking to an American agent, so maybe I'm going to do some shows. She's into booking me, which is, I'm like, okay, it's a bit late on for things to be happening, but okay.
Please do a show in LA.
Yeah.
I have done some shows in LA, but
some shoes too.
Some shoes.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of pairs of shoes and some shows. No, I was at the Viper Room with the name of that band. What's that gay band?
Bon Jovi.
Wang Chung.
Yeah.
No. The gay band. What's that gay band?
Fleetwood Mac. No.
Oh, jeez. No, wait.
Fleetwood Dyke. Nope.
That could be it. They did play around here a lot.
Oh my God, I'm having a brain aneurysm.
Led Zeppelin. That's actually a real band.
That is a band. I know those people.
Yeah. The Burt Reynolds bunch.
Pansy Division.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That sounds like a great show.
Yeah, so I did that, but it was like right after the election or something.
The good times, as we call them.
It was a bummer kind of day.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It was a bummer time. It was after the election.
Oh, bummer time. Right. That's right.
People were
right after fall and before winter.
People were not coming out. People were like hiding in their homes, screaming, drinking.
Drinking and committing suicide.
Yeah. And Rough Trade actually played here. We did a reunion show at LA Pride in 2005 with Joan Jett, and Sharon Stone was there. I don't know why. She was hosting.
Really?
And these queens were like, "Who are you? You're fabulous. We don't know who you are, but you're fabulous." Which is my favorite thing.
Oh my God. Does that? Oh Lord.
But people came to that because it was Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the exciting things too. Is that everyone I've played your stuff to, everyone always flips out about it. They're like, wait, how have I not heard of this? Because you're so ahead of your time. The content, like Crimes of Passion, is very extremely edgy. Like people still today are like, oh my God.
It's edgy now. Like, I mean, it's like extremely edgy. And still now it's like shocking.
Hands down into the moistness of herself. I mean, that's like, what's that going on? What's that?
Oh my God, I got to clutch my pearls. It's crazy.
It's not like Seals and Crofts or something. Like, you're like, what's that?
I mean, what I loved about Rough Trade is like my lyrics are so dark and bitter and kind of funny, and Kevin's music is kind of up.
Yeah.
So we meld the two together. So you can dance to it, but somebody had this great quote, music you can now I've forgotten the quote. It makes you think and dance at the same time. That's my favorite quote.
Oh, that's excellent.
It's a good commercial
about my music.
Makes you think and you can dance at the same time. Rough Trade.
Rough Trade.
No, that was actually about me, not Rough Trade. But
Carole Pope. Yeah. And fake Rough Trade.
Yeah.
I want a fake Rough Trade shirt just to.
Rough Trade.
Oh God, actually.
And everybody keeps using that name. We had the name before Rough Trade, the record company, and I don't know why we let that happen. Well, I don't know why suing didn't happen.
Probably we're like, well, that's cool. There's a
Yeah,
little
we're
label,
like, cool.
right? Yeah.
We're like, we're cool. They're cool. They're Brits. Okay.
The days of letting that stuff go are long gone.
Oh no!
too,
If it was
right?
now, I'd be suing.
yeah.
I just want to sue everybody.
So everyone, and also get 5 commercial endorsements because
Yeah.
that was frowned upon heavily then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it'd be great. Like, oh, you want us to rewrite that for Pepsi? Terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would. Yeah, I'd love to have a song in a commercial.
Crimes of Cola.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
Crimes of Cola.
Yeah.
Crimes of Cola.
Cola.
Crimes of
Or you could do anything. Or like even Reba McEntire's doing Kentucky
Oh,
Fried
she's
Chicken.
she's the
She's
the
the-
general or
she's
whatever.
But I don't understand why people who have so much freaking
I
money
don't
do
either.
shit like that. Because
Right.
I wouldn't. I don't have a lot of money, so I would do it. But I don't understand.
sitting on an empire. You just want to throw some
I don't
chicken on
understand
it.
why
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is doing commercials in Japan. I mean,
It's strange, right?
it is. Do you not have enough money?
I mean, who knows? Maybe he was embezzled.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Who the hell knows? Maybe
I don't
he's,
think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe he's
either.
an embezzler.
Oh yeah.
Trying to keep him off the scent. You know
Maybe
what I
he
mean?
has multiple personalities. Who knows?
I sure hope so. You did some music for films, right?
Yeah.
Like Coneheads.
Oh yeah, but they didn't use it. But
Oh,
yeah.
they didn't use it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Son of a bitch.
That's too bad. Now, when that happens, do you get paid for it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's
Okay.
great. Okay.
And
Yeah.
Or like also with the Pink Floyd thing, did they give you some kind of like retainer while you're working on something, or just the nice sushi or whatever it is that's around?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think I crashed with Bob Ezrin, and
Yeah.
he was staying in a house that Jimi Hendrix used to live in.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was
He seems to
fascinating.
always
That's
have like
cool.
a good house. You talk about the when
Oh,
you're
he has a good house always. He had a great apartment on the east side. He lived near Garbo, go to Garbo,
Oh
and
my gosh.
but yeah, he was cool that way, and I could crash there, and we did some writing there. I mean, he's a cool dude.
and of course Tim Curry
Oh,
seems
yeah.
pretty cool.
Tim was wonderful, and
Yeah.
I wish I still was in touch with him because.
I think he lives in Toluca Lake.
Yeah, we actually, Kevin Staples and I looked him up because I'm like, I wish I tried to phone him, but his phone number's not working because of, the heart attack and
right,
everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't know anybody who knows him because I would totally call him and say, no, can I come over and
Totally.
let's talk about the olden days.
Yeah. I didn't know that he did 3 albums.
Oh yeah. He's one of my
incredible.
favorite singers too.
Yeah.
He's such an incredible interpreter of
That is
material.
so cool. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
So damn good.
Now, there's a song I'd like to play you from that's been
yes.
a favorite of the podcast listeners. It's from a film called By and Beyond 3, The Hermaphrodites. It came out in 1989. Actually, let me grab the sleeve because it's not as good without the sleeve.
It is transcendent. It is transcendent. For a porno soundtrack, it's unbelievable.
Can we say hermaphrodite anymore?
Well, it's
Because I like that word, but
right, but that's
But
what
now you
we were
can't say it
we were
anymore.
talking about that, and I think that in this like it's not it's not like a PC term at all.
wow. I loved it.
That's from a stash of porns that were deposited at Cinephile. One of the last
just
remaining
said
great
deposited.
videos. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't excreted, it was deposited.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's got a flap on the cover too. So there's like
Not a flap.
Oh, a flap.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes, I had a hermaphrodite on the CD for my CD Radiate, but they like pixelated out the penis.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But now we can't use that term.
The term
anymore.
is the term is verboten. Well, this was from '89.
But I'm sorry, but I like that term, and it still is a Greek, isn't it?
Hermes
Isn't it from
Hermes and Aphrodite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
sorry.
mythological.
Sorry.
What's your take too? Before we play the song, what's your take on the someone call it the politically correct adjustment to language, or just the general way
It's
that's
exhausting.
It's hard to keep track. I mean, it's hard to keep track.
I know, and I'm like, no matter what I say, I'm going to offend people. But
Right.
yeah,
Especially
I
as
don't-
someone who's basically a pioneer for visibility.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, but I love the term androgynous. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I
Now, is that
like
off the table now? Is that
I
not
don't
so?
know.
Oh,
I
no,
don't think that's off the
No.
table, but I think that just covered everything, and it was kind of sexy because everybody in the '80s was so androgynous, and you're like, will he? Will she? Are they? Do they?
That's a good song right there. I always thought that's a great one. Will they?
awesome.
Won't they? Are they?
Should they? Can they? Will they? Yes.
We've written a song.
Yeah, we
think
just
we
did
have.
it. We just.
But I like the suspense. I mean,
Sure.
I understand, but it takes some of the fun out of it.
Yeah, I think that's
Takes out the fun out of my sex.
right. And I think that's like it's kind of like what I appreciate your work is like it plays with the wildness and the mystique of pushing boundaries and not having everybody just like, no, this is what this is. It's very packaged and non-confrontational and just
And safe.
easy to digest and
Yeah.
safe and compassionate and caring. And it's like not tiptoeing around anything because it's to be queer or be a dyke or a fag or whatever. It's like it's not easy and it's not an easy life.
And it was so freeing, and now
Right.
it feels politically restricted.
Right.
Although I certainly can relate, I mean, it is not easy, but, it takes a little bit of the joy out of it,
Right.
being so politically correct.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think, being a queer person should just certainly be about joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You used a lot of, you're talking about the S&M clothing and stuff, but sort of that imagery and clothing in your work in the late 70s.
Yeah.
I was wondering, blah. That's my question.
Blah,
That's
blah,
blah.
blah, blah,
Yeah.
Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was like sexy and provocative and,
Edgy.
it turned me on, and then but every time I dated a woman, she wanted me to beat her up. So I was like, oh no, I really have to follow through with this.
Yeah.
With this, even though it's a sexual parody, but now I really have to whip that person. And then I got into it.
Yeah. Seems like it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Before we play that song, a little number from Sharon Stone.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. You'll like this one.
Yeah, I think you'll like this.
This is good.
How could you not? It's a crowd pleaser.
There's something you should know about me. I'm cold. I'm calculating. I get what I want. If you get in my way, I'll wreak havoc upon you. I can leave you weak, limp, twisted, confused. If you want to live to see tomorrow, you answer to me, and you answer quickly. I am a stroke.
Learn to recognize a stroke and act quickly. Time lost is brain lost.
Just a little PSA for everyone out there.
Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, they do not.
They sure
I thought
don't.
that was from Basic Instinct.
I know. Right.
But it's a stroke.
It's a
Exactly.
stroke. It's serious.
I am so serious.
I am Sharon Stone.
I
Very
can tear you apart, bitch.
Pay attention. Pay attention. This By and Beyond was from a stash of porns that was deposited at Cinephile from Hugh Hefner's brother's widow. So she brought in this huge amount of porn, and it was all of this nature. A lot of them purchased down the street at the Pleasure Chest. That's right. West Hollywood Classic.
This is a great cover.
I love that cover. I want
This
to
is-
use that cover
this is
for my
great.
next album.
Perfect.
This is dope.
Giving you the best of both worlds. I can be your guy, your girl. Loving me is easy. You'll see. I guarantee you'll never love another like Hermaphrodite, the best of both worlds. Hermaphrodite, when love's not enough. Hermaphrodite, the ultimate pleasure. Whatever turns you on, say I'm too much for one to love. And it's been done ecstasy. I can be this way, I can be that. I'm a lover's fantasy. Hermaphrodite, the best of both worlds. Hermaphrodite, when love's not enough. Hermaphrodite, the ultimate pleasure.
Stick it up my bum.
Oh, that's great. Live remix. We always love that.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Isn't that great? I'll send it to you if you'd like to add it to your collection.
I would love that.
Terrific. Well,
maybe I'll cover it.
That'd be amazing.
Hermaphrodite, could I be more offensive to everyone?
Release it now.
Who's anal retentive?
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Well, Carole, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
You're welcome.
so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope you had a good time. And,
I did.
Good, and maybe come back again sometime when you'd like to.
Okay.
All right. When I would actually like to. Yeah.
Yeah, when you enjoy it. Yeah. All right, terrific.
Thanks, Carole.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
It's whimsically volatile.